Good evening, everybody. I am Pınar Dinç Kalaycı from Gazi University, Department of Architecture. I am the architect, coordinator, moderator of this series of events, the international exhibitions and webinars of design studios. Today, we are running the first meeting. What we do and how we do will be our main concern, as each month we will be listening to two presentations, one from Gazi University and one from a European peer. And also we will open two digital exhibitions. In the events, we will be hosting the eminent teachers from the University of Ljubljana, Slovenia, the Sapienza University of Rome, Italy, the West Pomeranian University of Technology, and the University of Białystok from Poland, the University of Delft, Leiden, Delft Erasmus Port City Futures Group, and the Eindhoven University of Technology from Netherlands, as each will be paired with a studio from Gazi Architecture. We will have chance to see the variables and the varieties in the design studio teaching that is done in the first quarter of the 21st century. This evening, we will hear from Gazi University, Dr. Güngör, who will introduce the frame and components of the studio Think Imagine of Gazi University. As my dear Slovenian colleague, Professor Lucija Azman Momirski, will take us beyond planetary issues, so be ready to leave the world behind. I see our Dean, Nakış Karamağralı. Hello, Nakış Karamağralı, Professor, please, it's yours.
Good evening, dear colleagues, students, and all participants. Welcome to our International Exhibitions and Design Studios first meeting. Main characteristics, pedagogies, profiles, sample works, and specific considerations for the 21st century architecture of the design studios are expected to be displayed and shared. I wish a fruitful and successful meeting. I hope to come together for further collaborations soon. Thank you very, very much, and the stage is yours.
Dr. Güngör will present first. Professor Lucija Azman Momirski will present second.
This webinar is coordinated by the Studio Think Imagine, which I am an instructor of, and has been we've been together with Studio Think Imagine since 2013, I suppose. And we've been working on many projects with the Studio Think Imagine. I'd like to sample you with some of the products of those years passed by. As Studio Think Imagine, we have been challenging architecture project students to reflect their intellectual accumulations of their education and visualize them via different media on varying subjects on alternating places and times. In fall 2016, we went to Kınalıada, Istanbul, which is an island in the Sea of Marmara. It is the closest of the Prince Islands to Istanbul. Our project, where the main design challenge was the generation of pavilion spaces within the existing historical fabric of this beautiful island. One of our students responded this with an expanding structure in a single plot of land, while another one attached his pavilion to an existing historical building on the island. In spring 2017, we did not abstain from going to the beautiful Cappadocia, Nevşehir, which is the historical region in Central Anatolia, for a design problem for our students, which was generation of an architecture faculty campus as a landmark of 21st century on the rural historical topography of Cappadocia. One of our students chose a plot of land overlooking the Peribacaları, fairy chimneys, rock formations near Göremein, Cappadocia, and another one decided to build her very own Uçhisar castle in the shape of a pyramid. In fall 2017, we went to Kaliçi, Antalya, which is the historic city center of Antalya, Turkey, where there are buildings dating back to late 18th and 19th centuries, traditional Turkish homes. For a project that's design problem was transformation of these historical buildings and sites within architectural approaches that represent the 21st century architecture. One of our students rose to the challenge by providing a protective institution for the endemic plants of the region, and another one simply refunctioned the existing walls of Kaliçi to be used with both touristic and cultural and educational attractions. In spring 2018, surprisingly, we stayed home in Ankara and approached a growing problem for our own city and sampled it in Akköprü region of Ankara. The design problem was the realization of transformations to be created with a new architectural approach on a shopping mall site and create an urban landmark of the 21st century. Our students restructured and transformed the enormous land of an old shopping mall and turned it into a park with artificial hills covered with green spaces, gathering areas, sports fields, hobby structures, and also open-air concert areas and bicycle routes and jogging parkour. As our touristic architectural travels started to fade away in history in fall 2018, we chose to be apart from space, place, and time. The design problem was today's architectural production embracing the place instead of design, where designing in time can be a flow-oriented interpretation. Our students chose a place near a riverside from their hometowns or cities of they thought that their projects would benefit, and came up with solutions integrating technology, science, and cultural development of these areas and reflect them to their projects that with at least 4 times special solutions. In spring 2019, a growing situation emerged as immigration was increasingly felt around the city of Ankara. That year, the design problem was production of a migration museum and related spaces for the immigrants within the existing context of the Gazi Mustafa Kemal Boulevard, where temporary accommodations of these immigrants were felt intensely. Our students responded to this situation in varying ways. One of them solved the museum function within a single plot of land, where another one chose to turn to a high-rise development in which accommodation and other functions take place along with the museum. In fall 2019, the existing usage of the Zafer Square in Ankara was the design problem. The reconstruction of Zafer Square and the ground floors of its surrounding buildings with at least 2 times special solutions addressing today's and future problems by new functions and or revitalizations of old uses of existing spaces. The solutions in today's design were mostly focused on the existing usage of the area and refunctioning of the square, but some future predictions went on to foresee vast changes in height and function of surrounding buildings. In spring 2020, we were struck by the disrupted education semester as the universities were shut down due to pandemic. The initial design problem was to learn the rules and regulations governing the city of Ankara and transfer both these rules and our students' imagination into designing a 3-star hotel within the context, giving a green and ecology-oriented facade to the boulevard. After 3 weeks of face-to-face education, we went online and continued our project's critics in a distant manner. As Studio Think imagined, we were not deeply frustrated by the situation as we had our online platforms already installed for one-to-one evaluation of uploaded projects. In 2020 fall and 2021 spring, we went on to design with our students online and chose another platform to conquer online national and international student competitions. The challenge proposed for our students were to select and participate in an international or national student competition that they thought would address the problems of a changing world where their ideas and designs can provide an effective solution to a specific problem. As results came by, we are proud to announce that they gained recognition by the juries of those competitions as they received honorable mentions, equivalent first place awards, and editor's choice listings. As a final word, at Studio Think Imagine, we believe that the universities should be a vanguard of the use of information technology in a for restructuring the architectural education. And we should also be prepared for unexpected situations and strongly respond to the challenges.
So we are 4 collaborators in our studio. We have quite a number of students. They develop their concepts of architecture on the moon and the universe. And this is what I'm going to show you today. The students remain in studio for 10 months. So they have in these 10 months, they have different tasks. In the studio, there are all students of all years. So from the first year till the 5th year, they are all together there. So now I will go through the sample of students' works, which are also presented at our exhibition. This, for example, is a lunar greenhouse on the moon. And it consists of 2 elements. One element is this one, which is constantly moving in and out, so it sinks in the ground and then comes up again and allows specific vegetation to circulate according to the path of the sun rays. This is a lunar hospital, which is actually a narrower conceptual name for a modular building that provides all support functions, and it is not just a hospital. So the modular structure, namely, makes it easy to add new wards as required with the large crisscrossing circular passageways at the edges of the buildings, becoming giant windows. Then we have, this is a so-called industrial building. It means which also has residential units. It's a kind of a spatial hybrid of a helium mining settlement, which combines living and also combines the production and warehouse facilities. We are supporting in studio the students so that they really make all kinds of presentations of their project. So we insist on making models. This is the so-called lunar eye, and the idea started with considerations. Well, we have, large telescope systems on the moon. And how can we put them there? And those telescope systems, they are producing also beams. And the idea of the student was to come out of a concept of a beam towards the new building. Then this one is a solar power plant, which consists of heliostats and solar cells, and they are arranged in concentric circles, and those concentric circles move along their vertical axis according to the best use of solar energy. So it's a kind of spiral, and around that spiral you have those arms which are catching the sun. This is so-called interactive multimedia center, and it allows visitors to experience presentations in zero gravity. And also with the different technology and techniques, they can experience the transformation of a visual message into music. This one, universe garbage track, we could say, is a space object which travels in the universe. When it meets debris, it can eat it up. And then when it has that debris, it also changes its form. The last one is the also a greenhouse in the universe. And this universe greenhouse is a kind of a garden that provides room for the residents. They can cultivate by themselves plants in zero gravity. Some colleagues think this is too futuristic, but I don't think so. I think perhaps in 10 or 15 years, this will become a reality. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentators, to Can Güngör and Lucija Azman Momirski from Slovenia. We have different ways of doing things, but I believe, and it is very certain, that we do the same thing. We try to make young people aware of the value of space and creating good quality spaces that human and other also living natures can shelter.